Pacific Blues. The Marlin Bite is hot in Kona, Hawaii. Discover how the Pacific Blue Marlin came to be. And this amazing 96-year-young great-grandmother still loves a charter fishing adventure. Hooking up to a blue marlin, it's the pinnacle of sport fishing. Ever since novelist Ernest Hemingway captured our imagination some 60 years ago, man has been pursuing this amazing specimen of a fighting fish, a warrior with a built-in saber. You're about to enter the world of the Pacific Blue Marlin and discover the science, the stories, and the adrenaline that comes with fighting these apex predators. Because here in the Pacific, sooner or later, everyone wants to get the blues.
Aloha, I'm Andrew West. I'm a marine biologist, and I love to study the Pacific Blue Marlin. This is the most coveted game fish of all. Men and women from around the world travel long distances to achieve the pinnacle of sport fishing, catching one of these magnificent creatures.
Humdinger sport fishing is trolling for Pacific Blue Marlin along Hawaii's Kona coast. It's been a couple of days since they've even seen a fish. On board today is angler Brent Nelson from Los Angeles. And by mid-morning, a hungry fish finds a lure. A large marlin bites the Butch Cheese straight runner. The fish hits the long corner, and it's a fight Brent is ready for. Finally, a 175-pound marlin gets to the back of the boat. This fish is big and healthy enough to get a satellite tag in it.
Okay, that tag's in.
And that's called game over.
Right on. So you want to go charter fishing. You're on vacation, in a new area, or trying to catch a specific species. Here's a few tips that'll help make your experience a good one. Do your research and ask lots of questions in advance so there's no surprises, such as how many people can go on the boat? Typically it's 6, but some boats are licensed for more. If you have kids, is the boat and type of game fish you'll be catching kid-friendly? Who provides food and beverages? Do I need a fishing license? And if so, does it cost extra? And how do I get one? Can I tag and release all my fish? Probably one of the biggest questions we get, can we keep our fish? These are all important questions, as each boat has its different policies. Making sure that you and your captain both understand what you're looking for in a charter makes all the difference in the world. Just remember, even the best captains don't catch fish every day. But if you do your homework, it'll help ensure that you still have a memorable day on the water.
Coming up, a prolific grander catching captain shares one of his many big fish stories. And Casey Corday and the crew of the Ihu Nui clash with a big fish. But first, unscramble these letters to correctly spell the term for a group of fishing boats. Made up of over 150 boats, Honokohau Harbor in Kona, Hawaii boasts one of the best of these in the world. A group of fishing boats called a fleet.
I moved to Kona in 1988 so I can pursue a career in sport fishing. I've been running the Monkey Biz 2 for the last 4 or 5 years, since 2007. Been lucky and caught a grander on it in 09, and then this year again in March, went up to the grounds with a friend of mine who chartered me for the day and his great nephew. Got up to the grounds, I watched a few other boats catch big fish that day up there. I was a bit frustrated and about to leave at the end of the day and decided to make one more pass up and down the bank. And bang, there it was. We got her on, and the fish made a couple of mistakes, and we were able to get on it real quick. The fish fell for my big short bait, a smash bait. My angler, Garrett Handwork, was big and strong, and so he could handle a lot of drag pressure. That worked out real perfect for us, and we got on it quick, and he put the huge drag on the fish, and boy, 15 minutes later, up it came. When Sean popped the fish up next to the boat on the leader, I could immediately see that it was going to probably go over 1,000 pounds, so in went the gaffs, and fish really cooperated well this time. We got her in the boat real quick, and I busted out my tape measure, my soft tape, and got a short measurement, and that was 142 inches. Then I knew, but we had a really good chance at making the mark on that one. So 10-minute run back to the harbor, and up on the scales she went, and there it was, 1,062, 2 pounds different than the one we caught in 2009. This is the second time that I've caught a grander when I've been with friends. So I have my friend Scotty and his great nephew who is here just on a going away trip before he goes to defend our country. He's never blue marlin fished before. It was a dream of his, and he ends up first blue marlin is over 1,000 pounds.
Ihunui Sport Fishing in Kona, Hawaii is a fish magnet. Today, they've moved into India section on the west side of Hawaii's Big Island, just off the airport. And it's getting close to a tide change. A blue marlin chomps down on a purple softhead lure, a favorite of today's angler, Casey Corday. The fish hasn't jumped or come to the surface at all.
They never do anything.
So they have no idea how big it is. Casey's best strategy is to keep the line tight and keep reeling. Massive blue marlin has served notice that she's not going down easy.
I never see the whoop.
This marlin fight lasts about 40 minutes. This is a massive fish, maybe a quarter of a ton. It's the biggest marlin boated today along the Kona coast. And the delicious smoked marlin, marlin jerky, and kajiki steaks from this fish will feed quite a few families. Back at the docks, it's a nice way-in. Just another day on the ocean for the Ihunui.
Hawaii's Kona coast is one of the few ideal places in the world to fish with these magnificent creatures, and for many reasons. Perfect weather, calm ocean waters, and access to first-class captains, crews, and charter boats. Another reason, you stand a chance of catching a 1,000-pound marlin any time of the year within minutes of leaving the harbor.
Coming up, Dr. Andrew West explains how the marlin we catch in Hawaii came to be known as Pacific blue marlin. And this amazing 96-year-young great-grandmother proves age is just a number. But first, your Pacific Blues word scramble. Unscramble these letters to reveal an action you see in bowling, baseball, and sport fishing. You've seen this in bowling and baseball, and in fishing, it's what all anglers wait for. When a fish hits your line, it's called a strike. It's a beautiful morning along Hawaii's Kona coast, and we're back on the Ihu Nui. Today, Captain McGrew Rice has brought along his wife, Jennifer, and her 96-year-old grandmother, Louise Hawkins. Theirs is a special bond that spans 4 generations, with big game fishing always a shared passion. Louise's first visit to Kona was fueled by her husband's love of fishing.
When we discovered Hawaii on a trip going to Tokyo, my husband Cliff spotted that Kona was the place to fish. So on our return, we chartered a boat from Spike Simpson, and he caught a 180 Aki tuna. That set the stage for our fishing.
Louise Hawkins was born in Ohio in 1919 and moved to Glendale, California by the time she was in kindergarten. She went to John Muir High School with the great Jackie Robinson. And after graduation, she met her true love, Clifford. They married 3 years later.
When we got married, we spent our honeymoon fishing. That was number 1.
The couple had an import business and traveled worldwide, but fishing was always in the forefront. Another trip to Hawaii in 1964 was due. That trip changed Louise's life.
We decided to bring our granddaughter, Jennifer, who was only 22 months old.
Young granddaughter Jennifer was on that boat that day to see her grandmother reel in a 180-pound blue marlin.
But all of a sudden, I had my first marlin in Kona.
And they were hooked. After fishing around the Pacific for a few years, Kona, Hawaii became their second home in 1969. So they bought a fishing boat.
There was not that many boats to go fishing on. In fact, there was only 3 in the harbor at that time.
Before long, Louise was setting some light tackle world records.
When I started fishing for world records, I realized that if it was a big fish, I had to be the one in the chair.
She set 4 of them, including one she still holds today after 30 years, a 40-pound spearfish on 16-pound test. Louise's granddaughter Jennifer is now a realtor in Kona and attributes her quality of life to her family, her husband, and also grandma.
I always did all the women's tournaments with her and tagged along everywhere she went, and she was just an amazing influence to watch her fight those fish, and it was just really exciting for me. So she was a huge influence in my life.
And also in the life of great-granddaughter Kyla, a 4th-generation Wahine angler.
Fishing for women in our family is a tradition. Me being married to Jennifer and her grandmother Louise, also being into fishing just makes my life pretty full.
If you haven't figured it out, it's a fishing family affair. Louise Hawkins, a lover of life, family, and big game fishing.
I'm Louise Hawkins. I'm 96 years old. I'm a world angler. I have fished for 75 years of my life and love every moment of it.
Throughout this series, we're trying to answer the question, what is a Pacific blue marlin? But did you know that before 1960, there wasn't ever a species named the Pacific blue marlin? That's right. The large marlin we catch here in Hawaii and in other Indo-Pacific waters were originally called silver marlin, or misidentified as black marlin. However, Captain George Parker embarked on a mission to change all of that. On November 13, 1954, George was taking his boat, the Mona 8, to dry dock in Oahu from Kona when he hooked onto a huge marlin. After about 3 hours, he had the fish, and it weighed in at 1,002 pounds, Hawaii's first grander. George and a few other marine biologists believed that his marlin was in fact a blue marlin. Finally, after 4.5 years, George Parker's 1,002-pound marlin, along with the majority of large marlin caught here in Kona, were recognized to be Pacific blue marlin. So we have Captain George Parker to thank, not only for his contribution to sports fishing on the Kona coast, but he was the first man to answer what is a Pacific blue marlin.
Coming up, a Tahitian delicacy gets a Hawaiian twist, and the Kona Blue hooks up.
Aloha! Mahi-mahi is a sweet white fish, ideal for making poisson cru. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this classic Tahitian dish with my own twist. Let's start by chopping our vegetables. First, I'm going to get our onion prepared. We'll do it a fine dice. Next, I'm going to chop my pepper. I don't want the chunks too big, so I'm going to slice it a little bit thinner, kind of like a julienne style, so I can get a nice small dice. Next, I'm going to work on my hot peppers. These are Hawaiian chili peppers that I grow in my garden. Hot peppers, but not too hot. Gives it a little kick. I'm going to cut my tomato. I'm just going to do a large dice with my tomatoes. And next, we're going to chop our cilantro. This is a tropical fruit that we find locally here in Hawaii. The rambutan will help sweeten our poisson cru. Let's cube our mahi-mahi. Mahi-mahi is popular because of its sweet white flesh. It's also known as dolphin fish or dorado. Let's combine our ingredients together. We're going to add the tomatoes, a little bit of our rambutan, some of our sweet peppers, our chopped cilantro, a little bit of the chopped onions. Don't forget our Hawaiian chilies. Next, I'm going to add the lime juice, which will cure the fish, kind of like cooking the fish. Before I stir, I'm going to add the coconut milk in. Today, I'm going to add my special twist with a little smoked salt and a little fresh ground pepper, and a little bit of green onions that I prepared earlier. I'm going to combine the ingredients and get ready to serve it in my coconut half. Let's garnish it with a little sprig of cilantro. And there you have it, today's fresh catch, mahi-mahi poisson cru.
It's day 4 of a 5-day Blue Marlin tournament, and the spirits on Kona Blue sport fishing are high.
We got Donnie on board. We're going to get a big one today.
Some of the boats head toward the 1,000-fathom ledge. These are fertile fishing grounds just off the coast of the Big Island, where the water is over a mile deep. Today's skipper is Captain Bill Crawford.
Well, we're going back to where we've been getting hammered every day.
Donnie Brandt is today's angler. He hasn't seen a marlin all week, and he needs a fish pretty bad. For the past few days, the Kona Blue has been hot in this area, and our angler wants a piece of it. Just 90 minutes after start fishing, there's a strike. Finally, Donnie's in the chair, and here's where the fun begins.
Big guy.
David Crawford grabs the leader, and Mike Dacko has the tag stick. This is a nice sized fish today, so they'll give it a satellite tag and release it in an effort to preserve and study the species. No more goose egg for Donnie.
Donnie got one. Makes life a lot easier right there.
Everything felt right. My crew was behind me. BC up there on the bridge. How could you go wrong?
Good feeling, good way to start the day.
That's all I got to say about that.
Today, the majority of charter boats practice tag and release of marlin for the conservation of the species. We can now take that a step further with advanced satellite tags that monitor their migration, their swim depth, and so much more. And I'm proud to say that the worldwide effort to study and protect these creatures is growing rapidly. Thanks for watching Pacific Blues, our way of introducing you to the world of blue marlin. Till next time, aloha.